Alright guys, time for another chess short. This one's been sent in by Ben Jackson 89, who's rated 797, and Ben's opponent Luzal from Ecuador, rated 789. This is a 30-minute rapid, but we're going to do it in a lot less than 30 minutes because this is a chess short. Okay, so we've got the black pieces and white starts with e4, e5, and the Wayward Queen attack. Fantastic stuff. Okay, now obviously there are things you have to look out for here. G6 to hit the queen doesn't work because queen then takes on e5 with check and then wins the rook. So you've got to avoid that idea. Your options really are knight to c6 to defend the pawn, d6 to defend the pawn, but that's not ideal because you're blocking your dark squared bishop. Or you can bring out your queen here to say f6 or e7 to defend the pawn. So we have knight c6, probably the best move, good. And now bishop flies out as well. This is classic Wayward Queen stuff. We're going for a very quick mate here. So here again, you can bring your queen out, you can play g6. Not sure that d5 is an option. So g6 hits the queen. Queen now can't take the pawn because knight defends. So the queen drops back to f3. Okay, this is all very much mainline Wayward Queen attack. Now the queen is again threatening mate on here. So now again we can bring out our queen. We could in theory push the pawn also. Or block with a knight. Knight on f6, good. Comes with development. And now you have to be very much aware of this move. Knight to d4 can hit the queen and also threaten a fork on king and rook on c2. So if you do that, then the queen is going to have to come back to one of these two squares to defend this pawn here. We have g4. Okay, well that's white saying goodbye to kingside castling for one thing. I think the idea is to push g5 on the next move and try and remove the knight. So we need a way to defend against that. Queen d7 would do it, because then the knight can move. Could it maybe move to there or move to there? So it's not a bad move, but it is definitely weakening from white's point of view. So what would I do here? I mean, anything like moving the bishop with a mind to castling is just too slow because next move... Hang on. Yeah, so say we do bishop there, go there. We haven't got time to move the knight because we're still faced with a mating threat. So what would I play here? You can't move the knight on this turn because the knight can't defend that pawn. If you could move it and defend the pawn, that's one thing. This may even be playable now, actually, because then if g5, you just take the queen and the checkmate threat is off. That's probably what I'd play. Oh, that's an interesting move. That is definitely interesting. Bishop h6 prevents the pawn from advancing, so it can move with the threat of a fork, but right now bishop can take. Now, if white pushes d3, then we have a face-off of bishops. So that's probably the best move for white. But again, we can also castle. But again, let's say pushes, takes. Well, the bishop actually hangs. So, okay, let's push, takes bishop, pushes, castle now. No. Right? Because if push, we take the bishop, pawn pushes, bishop comes back and captures the pawn. So what's white going to do? White pushes c3. That's rubbish. I mean, yeah, it stops the knight coming into there. I get that. So maybe it's not entirely rubbish, but it's kind of temporarily given up on this idea because the bishop is not free. But now we could actually castle, you see, because of this. White's lost a tempo, an important tempo on this move. We could castle, and now if pawn pushes, we just take. So black pushes d6. Oh, freeing up this bishop. So now even if the pawn pushes, we have takes there, threatening the queen. But the queen could take the knight. If we recapture, pawn recaptures, white wins a knight. Oh, it's another slow move from white, h3. Defending the pawn. But still now, we've still got, you know, if we push there, we can still take, because this bishop is not open on this diagonal. So you could simply castle now. You can't come in and attack with the knight. You can't take there, you can't take there. Castles? No, attacking the bishop. Interesting creative play here. Yeah, we've put the knight on the rim. But if bishop takes there, king takes. Bishop comes here. We've got pawn or bishop. Bishop comes here. We can take with the knight. And we're okay. Oh, come on, white. It's just another slow pawn move. We've had several in a row now. I think we can just take the bishop now. Yep, takes, b takes, and now the wayward queen attack is just off. This pawn is effectively pinned because bishop takes bishop, and it's not defended. So now, bishop e6 looks at this pawn. You play bishop here and just shut the queen out, or you could just castle with ideas of dropping the bishop back, or you could drop the bishop back now. Okay, bishop e6 looking at the pawn. Knight defends the pawn. Does feel like kind of passive play here. White could also have pushed another pawn, but white's going to have trouble. You see how white has now moved 5 of her 8 pawns, and doesn't have a lot of development to show for it, really, as a consequence. Black, however, has 3 pieces developed and still has a couple of safe options for castling the king. Okay, we have queen d7. It's kind of a barrage now on this with 3 attackers on this pawn here. That might be worth considering. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, hitting the queen. That's an idea. So what does white do? White plays knight to e2. Alright. This is still potentially an idea. I think also long castles looks very nice here. The queen can't come in. Queen's really kind of blocked in. This bishop's still having trouble getting involved. And long castle's good. Nice one, Ben. Rook to here. Okay. Half threatening this, but it is defended, and the queen is blocked off by this pawn here. So, what do we play now? I'm kind of liking the bishop on this diagonal. It's very tempting to put it in the fianchetto hole. We've got 1 attacker on this pawn. Maybe queen here. Queen here puts 2 attackers on this pawn, and also 2 attackers on this pawn, both of which are defended only once. Good. Good man. Well done. And, oh, another pawn push, d3. Okay. Now that is a good move because it defends both pawns. This pawn, again, is only defended once by the queen. So what would I play? Knight's defended, rook isn't. How do we increase the pressure? Don't see great value in taking out the bishop. Maybe centralise the rook to one of these squares. Still got 21 minutes on the clock. That's very comfortable. 2 attackers, 2 defenders. Oh, but this bishop's undefended, so we've got to resolve that. Okay, we're either going to trade or we're going to drop back to g7. Drop back to f8. Okay, that's another idea. Because now we've got ideas of pushing this and then, no, it's defended. And also this opens up to, say, c takes, hitting the queen. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think maybe bishop g7 would have been ideal. Oh, yes, and of course it defends the knight. I didn't even see that. Knight's not defended. Oh, my lord. Oh, lordy. Right, now, problems. Queen's attacking the rook. The rook could be defended by the other rook, but the bishop is in the way. It can't go here or here because queen takes. Oh no! This is terrible. Okay, so the rook moves. Good. That's really the only move. And now is the bishop going to go back here? We shall see. Oh! Oh! Now, finally, now that white has moved the d-pawn, white actually has a checkmate threat. So I think the queen has to drop back, or the rook has to move, thereby defending d8. Queen drops back. And now it's black that's on the back foot. All right, queen now retreats. Okay. Now notice the bishop, having come out here, is no longer defending this knight. So this may be an idea. Could we even allow white to capture our bishop? We take knight, white takes bishop. We take another pawn, hit this rook. Don't know. This is also playable. h6, kick the bishop away. Has to go back here. Okay, good. h6. Oh no! Oh! Okay, we are down a full rook, boys and girls. Wow. Wow, this is hotting up. Knight's still undefended. Okay, so what on earth are we going to do here? Yeah, so you have to scan the board and just see what's undefended. I just missed that. Okay. And this just prompts the bishop to have a look around and see what's available. Okay, so we're down a rook, but we have the bishop pair. White has no bishops, has to be said. Therefore, what we want to be doing from a strategic point of view is opening up the board, particularly these files pointing at this guy, right? So even something like f5 now, takes. Not sure where the bishop goes then, it would have to drop back. Okay, so white pushes a pawn. This is actually good for us. Oh, counter push. But now, if either pawn takes, it comes with tempo because the bishop has to move. Bishop moves. But we have opened up the e-file to some degree. Okay, bishop drops back. He could now grab another pawn. Okay, now he's kind of closed the e-file. This is not looking so good. However, does Ben spot it? Yes, good man. Okay, we're now just down the exchange and a couple of pawns. Right. Scanning. This pawn is undefended. That's undefended. That's undefended. That's undefended. We have weaknesses. Also, this bishop is a bit out of squares as well. Can only go here. I think rook f8 is sensible to defend this pawn. If you lift the queen, then this pawn push is annoying because you'll have to take... What's that? Oh, queen could actually capture there as well. Yeah, queen here, pawn push. Queen takes there, pinning the knight. If pawn takes here, not a problem. It's just a human shield. Okay, pawn pushes down. Ah, it's white go. Right. Bishop to there, threatening an undefended pawn. Does the pawn take? I don't think that would be great actually for white, because it gives the queen control of this file. However, right now rook can go to there. Oh, it takes with a queen. Didn't even see that one. King has to move. Now what's going to happen? Queen takes is tempting, then we have a trade of queens, but it's equal, but it does leave that king wide open. Okay, this is hotting up. Also, this pawn is undefended. Right. Pawn takes. Okay. Think pretty much we have to take now. Take, and white opts not to trade queens, but instead gives check. King moves back to e7. Rook comes in. Okay, the bishop's going to have to save itself, but can it? Yeah, it can come here. Oh, nice counterattack. Oh, hang on. Queen takes, rook takes. White wins a rook. That is not a good counterattack because the rook's only defended once, but attacked twice. Oh, that was terrible. No, just take the free rook. That's winning. This is a missed win. Queen to here, adding a second attacker on the bishop. But now, we've also got this as well, hitting both queen and rook. I would probably just defend the bishop, to be fair. Bring the bishop back to here. Defends this pawn, attacks this one. Yeah, good. Random knight move. Notice also that our rooks are facing off. Okay, that's good. That comes with check. Nice. King has to move. Now, if you can get there with your queen, it's mate. What's stopping you? This takes... You haven't really got time to mess around because the queen's going to take there with check. Bishop drops back, defending the rook. So we could have a trade of rooks, but then this pawn is going to fall. Oh yeah, queen just takes anyway. Gosh. Okay, bishop blocks, light squared bishop. No, king moves. Wow. Takes, that's good. Equal trade. Now we are still down an entire rook. Equivalent, because we've only got 3 pawns, whereas white has 5, but these pawns are not good. Now that hangs. Bishop's also eyeing up this knight. Take the free stuff, okay, makes perfect sense. That's a potential runner, so can't take there, it's defended by the queen. Queen defends both of these pawns. What? White has this! With a fork on queen and... Come on, white, seize it! Ah. And there we go, so I think, yeah, white wins there. Oh, there was some good play in that, but yeah, ultimately, quite a few little tricks and traps that I failed to spot, but definitely exciting. But you can see there were just a few significant tactical problems. I mean, one was dropping the bishop all the way back to here. Just opened up some stuff, but some good play there. Definitely some good play with chances on both sides. So there you go. There's a nice rapid game in the 700 to 800 range. Unfortunate there, Ben, but you know, that's why we're here to learn and to improve. But yeah, good game. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you later.